Right. Welcome back, everybody, to Fresh Meat in Prison Streets. Previously on, the party has snuck into a masquerade ball and are attempting to uncover incriminating evidence about the Lady of the Manor, Venetia, as well as find out the actual identity of the Lady of the Manor, as she always attends her masked parties in disguise and doesn't reveal who she is. On the last episode, they made some important strides towards both of those goals when Perry, Ender, and Proud snuck up from the Great Hall and made it up to the upper floor, which is restricted for guests, but they managed to stealthily find their way in and then had a brief combat encounter in the attic with some old, odd, antique puppets, one of which seemed to possess Proud for a short period of time. But after defeating them, they looked around a little bit more, and Perry and Proud eventually made their way to a greenhouse, which was in the western side of the manor. And in that greenhouse, they found an odd-looking rose with black petals around the outside and a crimson center, which brought to mind some stories that Ender had told them about the blood rose. They pressed on through the other hazardous plants of her greenhouse to find a small vent, which they crept through and arrived in what seemed to be the master bedroom of the manor. Inside, they found several belongings which seemed to be owned by Lady Venetia herself, including a large painting, which appeared to be of potentially her, of a woman with raven hair and fair skin, as well as a small jewelry case which housed several rings, one of which was missing. And the party determined that those rings, there was one gemstone in each ring, one for every color of the rainbow except yellow, which was currently missing. They decided to bring what they found. They also found underneath her desk a basket with some bloodied old bandages in it, and then a guest list, which was similar to one that they had seen before, but had some minor notes besides some of the names towards the end, which, if that comes up again, they can cover that, or you can go back and watch the vlog. But they made their way back through the greenhouse, making sure to duck out of the way of the plants there, and snuck back to the attic where Ender was waiting, and had him check the rings for any sort of magic, and determine that there was some sort of divination spell cast on them. And then they split the rings amongst themselves, and then after some debate decided to tell Ender about the rose that they saw, as it was something that he was potentially seeking. And that was when it clicked for them all that this rose may be the damning evidence that they need. So, in order to achieve their goal, they decided at the end of the session to go back and find the rose that they had, and pluck it from the greenhouse, so that they had some concrete evidence before they went down to potentially find and confront Venetia herself. So where we left off, the party was in the attic, and I believe Ender was helping lower Proud back down to the library from the trapdoor so that he can make his way back to the greenhouse to grab the blood rose. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Perry, what did you write, Fox?
Perry doesn't really remember what I wrote. I think I just said found blood rose or something.
Okay, well, make sure that Fox knows to look for Lady Venetia, and she's going to be wearing a ring that has a yellow gemstone in it.
Okay, got it.
And
Perry
try
writes down
try
Lady V wearing yellow ring. Period.
and if he can get her out into the courtyard, that's the best place for us to all meet.
Got it. Bring Lady V to Courtyard. Period. All written down on the scroll.
I'm going to go down with Proud. Just sit tight here and we'll be back.
Okay then.
I'll lower myself down into the library as well.
All right. The two of you lower yourselves down and onto the table, which acts as a step that you can then step down onto the floor.
Okay. So, this door is unlocked, but I think there's someone on this level that maybe it's guards, maybe it's other party guests, but we want to avoid at all costs, all right? So when we go out this way, we're going to turn left, then right, then right, then left. Got it?
Okay, just lead the way. I'll follow you as quietly as possible.
Yeah, sure. That sounds good too. Proud's going to open the door.
All right. You
Cautiously.
cautiously and slowly swing this door open, make your way back towards the halls of the manor. Still hear some quiet sort of mumbling, unintelligible, but off to your right.
Proud motions Ender to follow him to the left, and will, in the same manner he did before with Perry, walk down this hallway.
All right, you make your way back down the hallway. You can still see the backs of those guards far off in the distance as you creep your way along the halls. And make your way back to that heavy door with the warning on it.
Okay, now I unlocked this once before, but I relocked it because I didn't think we were gonna have to go back in here. So I'm gonna try to unlock it again. I already know how to do it, so maybe it won't take as long as it did last time. But just watch my back, all right?
Okay.
Proud's gonna try to unlock the door again.
You've fiddled with this lock twice now, and you know its mechanics inside and out, so it doesn't take you very long before the lock clicks open again.
Okay, now Ender, before we go in, there are these plants that are really vicious.
Okay, let's just go in. Let's just go in.
All right. Proud lets Ender push him in.
All right. The two of you hastily make your way into the greenhouse.
Okay, but you can't get close to these things, all right? They will attack. Perry and I got burned by one, and I got burned by acid on another one.
Okay.
All right, so just
Derek,
keep following me.
looking around, do I recognize any of the plants in here?
Yeah, some of them are relatively harmless flowers that you've seen before. Some of them with minor medicinal properties, helping stomach aches and things like that. Some of them just nice decorative flowers that people grow and sell in the springtime.
Okay.
All right, just follow me. Don't get too close to the plants. Really don't get too close to the plants.
You cautiously tiptoe your way across the stone tiles, proud as you approach, seeing this plant here shudder slightly. And then as you come to a stop again, it slowly rests once more. Ender, as you make your way to this side of the room, you see the metal vent on the wall that they mentioned before, but you also see this plant in the corner here. And you recognize it as what most folk call a triflower frond. Now, this one seems to be have been pruned, as it is missing two of the flowers that make up the triflower and only has one. You've seen them growing occasionally off towards the eastern side of Lyrethia, towards the mushroom flats. And they usually have three, a red and orange one, which is currently missing, and just the yellow one is growing in this room.
Do I know if the yellow one has different properties than the orange and red one?
Yes. The yellow one tends to, when it senses creatures approaching and can follow their movement, it tends to lob small little globs of an acidic sort of liquid at them in order to defend itself. And most folk in Lyrethia that travel the way of the mushroom flats, or stories of perhaps down south towards the jungles, tend to give them a wide berth. And as you approach this table, your eyes settle on the glass case in the center of it, and then on the black rose that is growing within this case.
Andrew just takes a deep breath.
Is this gonna hurt us if we touch it?
Only one way to find out. I go and I reach for the case containing it.
Yeah, so the glass case seems like it will lift off. It's just sort of like a cylinder that sits over top of it that you can lift. And as you sort of begin to lift off this glass case and gaze at the rose, you get a...
Sorry, is the glass case like just a container over the top of it, or is it like entirely encasing the rose?
It's sort of like two parts. A cylinder that is bottomless that sits over top of it, and then a glass bottom.
Okay. If I can, I would just like to take the entire container without exposing the rose.
Yeah, you can do that then, yeah.
Okay.
As you look at the rose, you get sort of a nauseous feeling deep down in your gut.
Is that because I know like the history of it and what it takes to make one of these?
That, and there's something unnatural and otherworldly about it.
Okay. Yeah, this is definitely what we're looking for.
Yep, that's what Perry and I figured. But if you think we can take it back without harming it, then, well, this will probably be proof enough that Venecia's up to no good. Or has been up to no good.
Yeah, I think this glass case should,
Yeah.
it should be fine in here while we move it.
Alright. Well, if you're ready, I can lead the way back.
Yeah.
you begin to make your way back through the greenhouse, making.
Okay, is there anything that's like grabbable that is potentially useful for my herbalism kit that is easy? That's just like, I know what this is and immediately can identify it and just take like a little bit of it.
Yeah, in this pot here, there's some herbs that you recognize as having some medicinal properties.
Okay, I'm just gonna grab a little bit of things that I find will be useful later.
Alright.
But not anything that's like, just something that I can like stash in a pouch pocket or something, not like any crazy amount.
Yeah, you grab some leaves off of the plant here as you pass by it.
Okay.
With the glass case tucked under one arm as you slowly tiptoe your way back out of the greenhouse. Winding past several rather vicious looking plants.
Proud opens the door.
Alright.
And exits the greenhouse. God, always right back to those guards. And then, same as before, Proud will relock the greenhouse.
Alright. You click the door back shut and lock it once more.
Alright, same as before, just follow me.
As we walk past this hallway, can we hear them talking at all?
Just sort of quiet mumbling. Just sort of talking to each other softly.
Okay, but we can't make out conversation?
No, not particularly.
Okay.
You creep your way back along towards the library, making sure to stay as quiet as possible. And find yourself back in the library, stepping up
Barry.
onto the wooden table.
Harry, let down the ladder.
Hello, who's talking to Barry?
Oh my, it's Proud Pool and Ender.
What's the code word?
Do not coin.
Oh, okay, great, wonderful. Okay, use the ladder.
Proud will take the ladder and head up.
Yeah, with a slight clunk, the ladder unfolds itself. And this ladder's shorter and comes to rest on top of the table, as it doesn't quite unfold itself entirely. But you manage to climb your way back up the ladder towards the attic.
All right. Well, Ender got it. Now we should probably let Fox know to meet us up and see if he can find Venetia and confront her and get these shackles off once and for all.
I mean, yeah, has he responded back? We wrote him the note a while ago, so maybe he saw it.
Let's cut back to Fox for a bit.
Yes. Cut back to me. So happy.
Alright.
Go ahead.
So, downstairs, Fox, you spend a little bit of time in this little lounge here. Just sort of attempting to calm some of the guests and keep them here. Occasionally you'll see the guards, one of them still in the room with you, and he's just sort of keeping an eye out. Occasionally guests will come up to him and ask him a bunch of questions, and he'll just sort of politely say that he doesn't know anything and that he can't tell them anything right now, just remain calm. And sort of the same thing that you're doing. But every once in a while from this hall here, you'll see a guard walk in, and he'll take a couple people and a few of the guests, and he'll bring them off down the hall out of your sight. And then about 5 minutes later, he'll return with those guests, take a couple new ones, and repeat that process. So as you sort of wait in this room, occasionally people will come up to you, but you have some time to tell me what you want to do.
I want to go find Lucilla and ask her if there's a restroom that's not occupied with a dead body, so I can go to the bathroom.
All right. You make your way back out into the Great Hall, and you see Montgomery, one of the wait staff, standing politely in a corner, waiting, as well as Lucilla, who's currently talking to this guard here in front of the bathroom. And as you sort of walk out of this hall here, you look across the floor over the Great Hall, and you can see down the other hall to where there are some guests that seem to be brought into the dining hall over here. You can see just sort of the shoulder plate of this guard here facing away from you as he seems to be talking to some of them. And then the last thing that catches your attention as you walk into the Great Hall is Bella Luna. She's standing near the guard that is blocking the route upstairs and quietly talking to him, facing away from you. As you approach Lucilla, who is currently in conversation with this guard.
As I'm waiting for Lucilla, can I see the guard that Bella Luna is talking to and see what he is saying by chance?
They're talking quietly, so you can't hear them, but you can read his lips, but not hers.
Okay, what does his lips say?
So he seems to be doing less talking than she is. As you see sort of longer pauses before he says shorter sentences. And he says things like, "No, I didn't see what was going on. Just heard the call and walked over." And then a long pause, and then he says, No, I'm being honest. I didn't see anything. Just heard the scream and walked over." And then Lucilla turns to see you waiting there and says, Yes, did you need something then?"
Right before I go to Lucilla, did his demeanor give me the impression that he was talking to a superior, or was it just someone that seems like an outsider that he's trying to be respectful to?
Not superior, outsider.
Okay. Then to Lucilla, I'll say, yes. Is there a restroom I may use? I'm afraid I need to go.
Well, if it's really that urgent, then, well, this one right here is a crime scene. So I'm afraid I can't let you use this one. You sure you can't just hold on for a moment?
I would really like to go now. I've been holding it since an hour or so.
I understand, but, well, they're about to move on to interviewing the wait staff, and I can't let anyone out of my sight right now.
Can I go outside then to relieve myself?
She lets out a very long sigh, and you see a very frustrated look creep across her face, and then she quickly returns her face back to the same sort of quiet calmness. I suppose so, as long as there's no guests out there and nobody sees you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I'll be back right away.
Yes, make sure you are.
You guys are getting along great this party.
Bro, I am the best wait staff ever. No problems. 5 stars. 100%. I'm gonna go out to the west courtyard.
Yes, you weave your way back in between the party guests in various states of panic. Some of them more calm, some of them talking quickly to each other.
Who among them seems pretty calm with the situation?
One sec. Let me get back in there. Elizabeth is relatively calm. She seems to be consoling other people more so. Martial Lamakia looks bored, as does Agrippa, though his facial expression is hard to read. His body language, he's just sort of standing against the wall, arms crossed. Decius as well seems rather calm, disinterested almost. And the others seem in sort of a spectrum between concerned and outright panicked, with Aaron Varora being the furthest on the panic spectrum, and Zahindra and Serpion being more just concerned. But you weave your way in between them, make your way back out to the western courtyard, into the night air.
If I look around, do I see anyone?
You don't. Seems like the commotion inside has drawn some of the guards toward it, and the western courtyard is now empty.
Alright, seeing that I have some alone time, I am going to check the scroll.
All right. You check your scrolls of speaking and see in Perry's handwriting the messages that she wrote across it.
Okay, I'll go ahead and say, I am outside now. No one's here. Shall I go check first? Or wait? After I write that, I'll wait like 5 minutes, see if she says anything, and I'll just go if she doesn't say anything.
All right. They aren't particularly busy, so we'll cut back to them. A couple moments, Perry, after you write what you wrote, as the three of you sort of discuss what to do next, you see, still holding the scrolls in your hand, some writing scroll its way across. Kind of, you're past halfway now on the page. You've covered maybe about 2/3 of this scroll with writing. And you see this text scroll itself across the scroll and can read what Fox wrote.
Guys, Mr. Grumpy Man is wondering if he should wait. Here, look at the scroll.
I mean, we could go. I think he needs to find out who she's disguised as. But if no one's out there, we can head over there and get outside before he brings her out.
Could maybe try to set something up so we can surprise her, but I don't think we can carry that bulky glass case back in the party.
Well, I probably should be getting back because My manager's probably trying to find me or something.
Well, I don't think that's really our concern right now.
Well,
Sounds
it's very
We need to
concerned.
resolve this first, and then we can figure out about what's going on in the party after, I think.
How dare you not care about Perry's future career?
Well, Perry would still need to go. Maybe 2 hours is better than one trying to find lady. So, Perry wants to go.
Okay, I'm just afraid that once you arrive back at the party, they're not going to let you leave because you haven't been around for a while.
Well, it's not the worst thing just to have another ear on the inside. Regardless, we should get back down there. Sitting up here talking about it isn't going to help anyone.
Yeah, tell him that we're on our way and to look for the lady, and we'll meet him out there.
Okay, Perry writes that down on the scroll.
All right, Fox. While you're still waiting, you receive that message. What do you do from there? Head back inside.
Yeah, from there I would go back inside, and I guess I would check on each person and kind of look and see if they have any rings on them by chance. Anything that would fit the description they were talking about. Or if they had, I guess, like a necklace maybe that was tucked away. Maybe that could be a ring. Just trying to find some clues, since I can't like detect magic or anything from it.
All right, we'll get back to you in a moment. I just want to stay with these guys as they make their way back through the upstairs of the manor. So I don't remember if you guys left the ladder down or up. I think you brought it up.
We pulled it up once I
Yeah.
got there.
All right. Well, the three of you have sufficient strength to lower it back down without having any difficulty with it, so you do so.
Can I just lower them by hand down?
You could, yeah.
Okay, I'd rather do that. That way we can leave the ladder up in the attic and not leave it just down on the floor.
All right. There's no table, so they will have to drop the last 4 feet or so.
Okay, I'll drop Perry first. That way she can kind of like help Crowd get down second. And then I'll drop down below after.
Okay.
All right. One by one, each of you makes it back into this room. This sort of makeshift, or this bedroom here in the upstairs of the manor.
Okay, I haven't been up here before besides in this bedroom, so you're gonna have to lead me the way back that you came.
Sounds good. Just over this way to the store.
All right.
Crowd's going to cautiously, approach the side. Try to listen for any noise as he's done before. If he doesn't hear any noise this way, he's going to go this way.
Yeah, you don't hear any noise coming from that direction. Now you creep your way through the halls of the manor, passing by that painting again. And this hall, from which off to the left you hear the occasional voice, but it seems much quieter from that direction than it was before. And slowly but surely you make your way back to the other bedroom, the one with the balcony.
One thing I want to grab before I leave.
Today, Perry's already grabbed it.
The weapon case here that held the sword that you guys saw on your way in, you left unlocked, so you can lift the lid and grab this this blade that sat in the case.
I'll let Perry grab the violent thing.
All right, Perry, you pick it up. It does have a sheath that is still on it.
Great, Perry's got it. Let's go.
All right. Are you gonna be able to hide a sword and your bow in that maid outfit?
What are you talking about? Perry's gonna hide it in one of the bushes.
Okay.
All right.
When we get out here, we look over the edge to see if we see anyone.
Yeah, you step through the window, which can be opened easily, and out onto the balcony. Oops. Wrong thing. There we go. As you each step through the window and look down into the western courtyard, you can see that it seems to be empty. No party guests, no guards, and no fox.
Well, let's start climbing down.
All right. Proud's gonna try to climb down. Wait. Wrong button. Alt. There you go. Alt. There you go. So yeah, Proud will attempt to climb down.
All right. What was it last time? Athletics or acrobatics? I forget what I made you.
I think you said athletics.
All right, that sounds like what I would say. So we'll go with that again.
All right. That's a 14.
All right. Slowly but surely, you make your way down the vines. It's a little hard with one arm, but you eventually plant your feet back on the grass and look up to see your two friends waiting up on the balcony.
Proud will help whoever's next. Looks like Perry, and then he'll try to help Ender by taking the glass. Well, yeah, we'll get to that part, but he'll help Perry first.
All right. Paramedic Athletics as well.
That was an 18.
All right. With two arms, it's much easier. So you deftly swing your way down the vines and don't really require much of Proud's help as you plant your feet back on solid ground.
When she's about halfway, I'm gonna hand her the glass vial, or not vial, but glass container, so she can then hand it to Proud.
All right.
That way, none of us drop it as we're climbing.
Okay.
And then I will attempt.
Athletics as well.
I only rolled an 8.
Proud with
So
the blood rose is gonna hang back to give space.
All right. When you're about halfway down, one of the vines tears away in your hand, and you fall the rest of the way, and just sort of land on your butt.
okay.
Perry's gonna go ahead and go to this bush right here, and I'm gonna hold on. Perry's looking at all the bushes.
Okay, I'm looking down this direction to make sure there's no guards.
You don't see any guards.
Okay. If I look this way too.
No guards.
Okay. Hurry up, Perry.
Perry's gonna actually. Is this a tree?
Yeah.
Perry's gonna climb up this tree and hide it in one of the branches.
Proud is going to hand off the blood rose to Ender,
Okay.
and then so for this fountain, how deep does the water look, and how deep does the water look in relation to the stone, like covering, or
What do you mean?
Stone wall of it.
The water is shallow enough that you can sort of see the stone. Your traditional fountain that you'd usually see like coins tossed into, and you can kind of still see the coins. It's quite shallow.
Okay. Gotcha.
Would only really
If I
just
were-
be above your ankles if you waded in.
Okay, so Proud can't really like submerge himself underwater to hide himself.
You could submerge yourself
Right.
if you lied like entirely flat, but you wouldn't be really hidden.
How tall is this flower bed?
The flower bed sits kind of just below hip height, and then the flowers themselves don't reach past your belly button.
Okay, but if we were to like crouch down on this side of it, no one would be able to see us like coming from the doorway.
Yeah, you could obscure yourself if you lied down or sort of really hunkered down.
Okay, do you guys want to do that? Do you guys want to hide behind this flower bed, or do you guys want to hide under the tables, or just against one of the walls, maybe?
I think the flower beds allow us to get a clear vision on what we need.
Okay, I'm just a little worried about guards coming from the other direction, but we can sit back there and hopefully Fox comes soon.
Yeah.
All right. Ender and Proud, the two of you hunker down behind the flower bed. And from what you can tell, you soon be out of sight. Perry, what do you do?
Perry's gonna go back in the party.
All right. Then,
Oh wait, but before I do that, I'm gonna give one of them the scroll.
Okay.
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 Here you go, guys. Whoever wants it.
Do you want to hide the sword?
She already did.
I already hid the
Okay.
sword. It's up in that tree.
Oh, got it.
With my bow.
Here, why don't you hold on to the scroll since I'm holding this, Rose?
Okay,
I'll hold on to the
bye.
scroll. Good luck.
Just be careful.
All right. Perry, you step through this door into the lounge. And are immediately facing the backs of a lot of party guests. This room is quite crowded. And you can see a bunch of them, some of them talking to the guard, a couple of them occasionally approaching Fox, who you see also interspersed throughout the crowd. And Fox, you seem to have approached Zahinja, so we can get to you before Perry approaches.
Are you alright, Zahinja?
Yes, just it's all rather startling. Wasn't expecting this to become quite so serious. I thought it would just be a light party to make a public appearance, and then I would be on my way. But seems this has become a whole incident now.
You and me both. This is quite the surprise. Certainly a time to remember, being my first time here.
Yes, you don't happen to know anything else that's going on. They haven't told us, the guests, much.
All I know is the guards wish to speak to some of the guests, a few at a time, and they just are trying to understand what happened. That's all I really know. I don't know why.
Yes, I've seen them take several out of the lounge here, off across the Great Hall. So that must be what you were talking about. They haven't come to get me yet, but I'm afraid I don't exactly have much information to help.
I'm certain you have nothing to worry about. Let me go check on the others. If you have any needs, let me know. And before I go, I want to kind of hold out my hand for hers to kind of signify that I'm saying adieu to see if she does it, but I'm mostly trying to look at her hands.
You see her sort of, she pauses for a moment as you do that, and then she kind of gives you sort of a bit of a head tilt of confusion, and then quickly you see her sort of half under her breath. Oh, is this a Carcassonne custom? And then she holds out her hand to kind of match what you're doing.
When I take her hand, I'll bow my head and like lower her head just a little bit. But I'm trying to see if she has gloves on. I guess I'll take both hands onto her hand and kind of see if there's a ring on it, just subtly, as subtle as I can, I guess.
Yeah, as you bow, you hear her say, "Oh, and we bow as well." And then she gives a little bit of a bow. On her fingers are silver rings. Um, each of them are some of them gold, some of them silver, but none of them with any sort of stones embedded in them.
All right, next ghost.
Um,
Basically just gonna be doing this the whole time, checking up on them and doing an awkward bow. So I don't know if you want to actually roleplay all that with all of them, but that's all I'm gonna try to do.
We'll do one more before Perry comes in, and then we'll do
Okay.
that. Okay. So you walk up to Agrippa, who again is just sort of disinterested, bored. Was facing the fireplace, but now turns as you walk up to him and says, "Yes. Is there something you need?"
I am checking on your condition, seeing if you are doing all right, and if you need any assistance.
Assistance? No. I am doing quite fine. In fact, the only thing I need is to leave. I have grown quite tired of standing around in this lounge, and I think I would like to leave the party now. Do you have any idea of when we may be able to do so?
It is unclear as of recent events. We could probably get you to answer some questions first and then potentially leave, but I don't have any power in that say.
I see. Agrippa is wearing red gloves, and from what you can tell, no rings.
All right, well, he seems very stern and doesn't want to talk, so I'm just gonna kind of awkwardly turn around.
Disappointed that he seems to have to stay here a little longer. He returns to just sort of half-mindedly gazing into the fireplace. As you turn away from that conversation, you see Perry off in the corner, who has just sort of quietly entered the door as everybody is facing towards the guard right now and talking amongst themselves. So she manages to slip in without anybody really noticing.
To not give her to give her away, I'm just gonna kind of give her a nod, and I'm going to turn and talk to the next person.
All right. Scipione says, "Oh yes, hello. Are you here to take me to the other room?"
No, ma'am, not yet. I was just here to check on you and make sure everything was all right. You aren't shaking or anything, are you? And I'll kind of like go to reach for her hands and check on her and make sure she's okay. And I'm gonna look concerned.
She's wearing long black gloves that reach just all the way up to just below her elbow, and no rings. And her hand feels steady. And she says, "No, I am concerned about what's going on, though. You don't happen to know anything?"
I'm afraid all I know is that the guards went to ask questions to check on everyone's whereabouts, but they won't say why. I'm afraid being staff for just the night doesn't give me much knowledge.
I understand. Well, thank you for your offer, but I think it'll be alright.
Very well. I guess I will move on to the next one.
Perry, you can approach somebody if you want. You're now in this room.
Perry wants to be a little bit more like observant. Like, can I maybe just Perry wants to like talk to the bartender.
Okay. Yeah, he's just sort of quietly leaning against the bar as you approach. And he looks over and says, "Well then, any idea when they'll be resolving all this?"
I don't know why everyone's panicking. I know it's because something happened and everyone's whispering about it, but Perry was just out there cleaning the courtyard and whatnot, and come in here and it's all chaotic.
Yes, well, between you and me, he lowers his voice a little bit. It seems someone was murdered. Gustav Galway, in fact. You'll notice he's the only one not in this room.
Oh no, what a shame. You think the lady will notice that someone died at her party?
Yes, well, I'm sure she's already well aware. But, I would like to get this resolved. I don't plan on staying here any longer than the usual hours of the party, so if they would hurry up and interview the waitstaff already, then we can get this over with.
Oh great. Is that what they're doing? Are they gonna call me up pretty soon?
Eventually, they still have a couple guests to work through. Leave it to the guards to prioritize the rich people, of course, and leave us waiting around.
Oh, okay then. Is there anything I can help you out with? Or like maybe should I pass some drinks out to people?
Well, I've been told not to hand out any more drinks. Don't want any more events happening here. I think we've all had quite enough excitement. So for the time being, I'm quite good. In fact, I have nothing to do, so I'm afraid I don't have any tasks for you.
Oh great. Perry's just gonna walk around then.
Yes, well, if you can, try and figure out when we'll be out of here.
From here, would I be able to maybe like glance around the room and see if anyone's acting suspicious?
There's nobody acting particularly suspicious. Some people are gathered in small groups, kind of like this here. Some people are sort of off on their own. So it's not less suspicious and more loners versus those in a group.
At this point, do I have a good view of everyone in the room?
Yeah, but most of them have their backs facing you. except these two here.
Perry would like to cast Detect Magic.
All right.
And I'm particularly looking for people's hands glowing.
All right. The first thing that you notice as you gaze across the room, sort of past Fox, as he walks over and begins conversation with Arabella, you notice her as she's facing you. Her eyes softly glow. And then, as you take a couple more moments to gaze around the room, you see. Let me see. You see a glow coming from this person here, particularly from their hand. And you recognize the School of Magic as divination.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Perry's just gonna walk around and try to see if everyone's okay. Basically, I'm trying to get close to Fox.
All right. You weave your way politely through the crowd.
Hello, so sorry. Excuse me. So sorry, Perry. Coming through. So sorry. You guys doing okay? Up. So sorry. In the way up. Hello. So sorry. Excuse me. Sir, I kind of need your help. Something spilled over here. Over there, next by fireplace.
Yes, you have wonderful. What? Oh, all right.
Yeah, just 1 second, please. Perry's inexperienced. Please come this way.
Perry, as you begin talking to Fox, Arabella also looks at you, and her eyes just kind of slowly shift from Fox toward you, and they give off this same slight glow as she almost looks right through you. And she just gives you a very quiet, small smile as you and Fox make your way away from her.
So sorry. Excuse me.
You weave your way back through the crowd again until you're a bit away from the rest of the crowd. The closest people to you are Olabella and Gulagak, who are just still arguing and not paying much mind to you.
So Perry just whispers very quietly. I cast Detect Magic in that lady that's next by the table, nearby the bartender behind this arguing couple. Her hand was glowing.
Which one? The one with the half mask? The mask covering the top half?
The
Or the
one
full
with
mask?
the white mask covering her face.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, I cast Detect Magic, right? And it was magic, divination magic.
Oh, good. Should we nose ghost? My hands go to my nose. For who goes to talk to her?
No, you should probably
Let you talk to her? Good idea.
No, Perry's gonna go away now. Bye.
Wait, what were you trying to say?
Oh, hello there, Mr. Bartender. Perry walked around and there was nothing to do, so I'll just stay over here with you if you don't mind.
He shoots you kind of a slightly frustrated look. He gives you sort of the impression of, oh boy, now I have to babysit too. But he just sort of sighs and continues leaning against the counter.
Great, wonderful. You can always tell Perry just to do something you don't want to do. It's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna keep to myself over here.
Yes, well, as I said, I don't exactly have anything for myself to do, so I don't have anything for you to do either.
Okay, Perry's just gonna stand here quietly.
But if you want to look busy, pretend to clean a glass or something.
Okay, great. Perry picks up a glass.
All right. There's some sort of small washcloths sitting over a little rack that you can grab and wash some of the glasses that are absolutely pristine and do not need cleaning. Fox, we've passed the arguing Alabella and her orc companion to Consolata, who was just sort of standing by herself in the middle of this crowd, not particularly a part of any of the groups. And she turns towards you as you approach and says, yes, can I help you? Was there something you needed?
Well, I wanted to see how you were doing, first of all, seeing if everything was all right. I know this is quite surprising what happened.
Yes, indeed. I'm all right, thank you.
I must confess, I wanted to speak to you in private, perchance. I had a request for you.
Private? What's this about?
I heard that you know the woman at the manor, and I'm deeply interested in staying here full time, but I wanted to speak to you a little more. Uh, it's a little embarrassing. Um, might we talk outside?
Well, we aren't supposed to leave this room, you know.
I promise it'll be for just a moment, and you can blame it on me. It's just a risk, a gamble of my life, if you will.
Oh, you see her just sort of sigh, and then you can't read much of a facial expression beyond the mask. But one hand reaches up and just sort of taps against the mask absentmindedly as she thinks. And you can see on her hand a ring with a yellow gemstone set into it. And she pauses for a moment and says, all right, as long as it's quick.
Fox looks excited. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. As I'm walking, I'm gonna try and give some eyes towards Barry, but I'm not gonna turn my head because I don't want to be too obvious.
As the two of you make your way to the door, she pauses for a moment behind you, and you kind of feel her pause behind you as you're walking. And then as you sort of turn back around to look at her, she's looking off towards this guard here. And the guard sort of cranes his neck to look past Agrippa, and he has sort of like a quizzical look on his face. And then you see Consolata just wave two of her fingers, and the guard stops craning his neck and just resumes what he was doing. And then she follows you out towards the courtyard. Perry, what do you do?
Perry's just gonna stay where she is and just keep on pretending like she's cleaning glass.
All right. Then let's go to the courtyard.
By the way, we should probably confirm Proud's the one that has the ring.
No, you gave it to me. You did
I
at
get
the
you?
beginning. Yeah, before we even got here, you gave it to me.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Fox, you walk through the wooden door out into the cold night air, and Consolata follows you. And then,
Lets me. I'm gonna try and walk to the table. If she does, she might not.
you only get a couple steps towards the fountain before you have to pause, and you see that she is not following you anymore.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm sorry. I know that was awkward. I do apologize. I know this is a bit strange.
She stands there, arms folded, and says, yes, a bit. So, what was this all about? Let's make this brief.
I'm gonna put my hands behind my back as I prepare to talk, and I believe you said I needed to rub the ring, right?
You needed to press the stone into the ring.
Okay, so I'm gonna press it as I'm talking. I'm saying, yes. So, actually, I don't know how fast this works. Does it work like immediately? Like, do they automatically appear, or do I actually have
You aren't aware of that fact, but do you push it?
100%?
Okay. The air behind you crackles to life. And the Consolata just sort of takes one step back, startled, as this large circle of red lightning appears in the air and just sort of spins.
What is this? What the hell?
And she takes one step back and then says, What did you do?
This wasn't me. I don't know what this is.
The lightning crackles and spins and then forms a circle, which then opens, and beyond it you can just see sort of a vague impression of a stone room before a figure steps through the circle that has been sort of created within the air here. And the figure is tall and wears full plate armor. And as you get a look at its face, you can see that it is strange. Half statue and half corpse. And the figure has to almost duck to step through this portal. And you see Consolata sort of take another step back as this massive armored figure holding a large spear steps through.
I take a step with her.
And then from behind her, or from behind the large figure rather, another figure steps through. And then another one follows it. And you recognize these two, Fox. These two, one of them was standing outside the tavern that you stayed in briefly in northern Carcassonne. And the other stepped inside, accompanying Gaius. And the two of them step out of the portal and step off to the sides of this massive figure. And the one here has a spiked shield and sword strapped to its side, And this one here has a massive bow along its back. And then from behind all of them, you see another figure step through. And this one you recognize as well. This is another armored figure, wearing a large black leather cloak over top of its armor that reaches down to the ground. And its helmet that it wears is shaped like a raven. And you recognize this one as having also accompanied Gaius into the tavern. And the large, imposing figure steps towards Consolata and then just stands there and just has this empty, dead stare. And just does not fix its gaze on anything else but her. And then the other two, they spread out. And you see them scan and look around the area, sort of each examining bushes, looking around before making their way back. And then you see, all of a sudden, this one back here, the raven-masked one, it looks like he starts to take a step, and then he disappears. And your eye followed him for half a second, and then he was gone.
Should we get up?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay.
And then suddenly he reappears again, closer to you. And you hear a tinny kind of muffled voice from beneath his mask as he speaks for the first time. And you hear him say, "Roof is clear." And then the one here says, "Courtyard seems clear as well." And then you see this crackling portal still spinning, spin faster again as another figure steps through. Hands behind his back, he very casually steps through this portal, a stern look on his face. And he takes his place just here, in between the large armored one and the raven-masked man. And his eyes are fixated on Consolata. And he strides up, and then, with sort of a satisfied look on his face, says, "Well, hello there, sister." And you see Consolata, her head has been just kind of shifting back and forth between each of the armored men. And you can see she's trembling slightly, Fox. And she says, "Gaius, I don't understand. What are you doing here?" And Gaius pauses for another moment and says, "I've come to take what's mine." And then you see his gaze shift from Consolata to you, Fox, and he makes eye contact with you. And he says, "Very well done. I trust you didn't have too much trouble with this."
No, sir. The others are waiting and hiding, and I'm gonna holler, "You can come out now, if you are here."
Okay. Tentatively, I'm gonna stand up.
Proud will do the same.
I'm gonna take one of the cloak, or like the cloak that I'm wearing of the pirate outfit disguise thing, and I'm gonna just use it to cover up the blood rose for the time being.
All right. You do that, and then as you tentatively stand up and look at these figures standing kind of beyond the crackling portal, you see each of them, and then one of them disappears. And when he reappears, he is standing on top of the flower planter here. And just sort of looking down at you. And then you hear him shout, "Marlin! Lion! I thought you cleared the courtyard." And then you see the two of them just sort of back there. You see one of them just sort of shrug. "Must have been hiding."
That's why you hired us, because we are good at what we can do.
I see. Well, you may join the rest of us. No need to stand so far away. And then he disappears again and reappears back where he was standing. You see Gaius sort of look around at the assembly in front of him, and he says, "I seem to remember there was a fourth."
She's near.
But not needed for what you need at the moment.
She's inside, just keeping up impressions. But I don't believe, and I'm gonna look at Ender and Proud. I don't believe she has what we came for, correct?
Yeah, we have everything right out here. It's fine.
Yeah.
I see. And my sister is here. But you've yet to show me the evidence you found.
I was going to look at Ender.
Yeah, I'll step forward and just pull back the cloak and hold up the case with the rose in it.
As you do, you see Consolata fumble with her mask and begin to pull it off. And as she does so, you recognize the woman who now stands there. She was the woman in the painting, Proud.
The painting, I'm assuming, in the mansion.
In the master
or the
bedroom, yes.
Yep. That makes sense.
And she bears a pretty strong resemblance to Gaius, as well as the painting of the man that was in the manor halls as well. And then, Ender, you continue with what you're doing. I just wanted to do that.
I'm just gonna continue to hold it until someone tries to reach for it or anything of that nature.
The Raven Masked Man takes a step back to allow Gaius to view what you're presenting. And you see him look at what you present him, and his eyes narrow, and then move from the glass container back to Venetia. And he says, "Sister, this is what you and Father were hiding the whole time?" And Venetia just sort of stutters and says, Gaius, I don't control what Father tells each of us, you know. And Gaius frowns and says, indeed, this is just as much his fault as it is yours. What's the matter, Venetia? You don't confide in your brother anymore? I am your twin, after all. And she stutters again. Guys, it wasn't like that. He was on his deathbed and he told me not to tell you. It was his dying wish. I had to respect it. Indeed. You'd respect the wish of a dying old fool over your own brother? This is why we never got along, Venetia. He takes a couple steps towards you, Ender, and more closely examines the glass case.
Okay. I'll hold it up, but I'm not handing it to him necessarily. Just so he can inspect it.
He takes a couple moments and inspects it. And then looks back to Venetia. You've been feeding this all this time. And she just sort of, she's gone sort of like ghost white. All the color is drained from her face. And just sort of nods and stutters. The large figure takes another step towards her, standing almost more than double her height, and has to sort of look down at her. And you see her just sort of look up at the large figure. Well then, he looks to you, Ender, Fox, and then to Proud. Seems you've come through on our little bargain. I must admit, I was unsure of whether or not you would pull through, but you seem to have done the job quite well. I'm impressed.
Pretty impressive what people can do when they're trapped in a corner.
You see a slight smile at the corner of his mouth, and he just says, indeed. Now then, I have business to attend to in Achi. We can't stand out here all night. Sister, would you be so kind as to accompany me and my men on our way back? At this, Venetia spins around and shoots the three of you glares. And she still is pale white and trembling slightly, and she says, how could you have done this?
We don't want to get involved. Your hands aren't clean either. Ours clearly aren't, but at least ours aren't bloody.
From behind her, you hear Gaius speak up. Yes, Venetia, they are not involved. They are contractors who performed a task for me. Pleading to them won't help you now. Now then, Lion, take my sister back to the portal. You see the large figure place one hand on her shoulder as she trembles, and then the figure here takes a couple steps and goes, "All right, Lady Venetia, come with me." And then just sort of ever so roughly pushes her off away from you guys.
And what about us, sir? Are we supposed to handle the rest of our business here? Or do we meet you back in Achi?
From behind him, you see Lion, the one with the large sort of fur mane on top of his helmet, and the great bow on his back. March Venetia back through the crackling portal, and the two disappear out of sight. And then Gaius turns to you and says, well, a bargain is a bargain. I can remove your shackles here, or if you wish for, and then you see him pause and he looks around the courtyard, a more subtle getaway. I'll allow you to accompany us back through the portal. That will get you to Achi quite quickly.
I think that would be ideal. Proud, I shouldn't go in. Can you see if you can find Perry? She should be just inside talking to a bartender, last I saw.
Ender should be the one to go in to grab Perry back.
But he's the one who made the fool of himself.
All right. I'll be
Just
right
be
back.
quick. Try and
Yeah.
avoid people.
Yeah, I'll try.
Waiting for your fourth, then?
Yes, sir. If you can give us just a moment.
Very well. Don't take too long or the portal will close.
Fox, can you go over to this tree, and I point to the tree over there? Perry hid a sword up there if you want to go grab it before we leave.
Alright, so let me take a look.
As you begin to step, Fox, the Raven Masked Man disappears. And then, after a couple seconds, he reappears. And he's holding a bow and a sheathed blade. Was this what you're looking for?
Yep, that's it.
Can you teach me that trick?
It requires countless hours of practice. And he hands you the two weapons. He hands you the bow first. He just hands it to Ender because you were talking about it. And then he begins to hand the sword over, and he looks down at it, and he sort of pauses for a moment before continuing and handing that as well. And as he does, he says, "A fine blade."
Is there something you know about it that I don't?
Haven't seen this particular sword, but it looks Ikamuran in origin.
Ah, well, you see, it's because it's what's called a katana. And katanas are, and I'm gonna just ramble about how katanas are forged until Proud gets back.
The whole time you're rambling, the Raven Masked Man just stares like dead in the face at you, and just with empty eyes, not reacting or saying anything. And Proud, you make your way back inside and see Perry, who's still just sort of loitering around the bar.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I was
I'll take
waiting
it
to load in.
I was debating whether or not to bring you in there if it would be necessary, but I'll bring you in
I
there.
mean,
It's fine.
I'm gonna try to sublead to like get Perry's attention and go back. If I can do that from the door, great. If not, then I'll go in and get our attention.
Perry, you're just sort of quietly cleaning a glass
I'm looking around the room too.
that you've already cleaned about 7 times by now. And it is squeaky clean, but as you sort of gaze around the room, you see out of the corner of your eye that door open to the courtyard, and then Proud is just sort of standing in the door frame.
Oh, will you look at that? All clean. Oh, okay. I'm gonna get out of your way now, so that way you don't look at me annoyed again. Bye bye.
The bartender just sort of nods and quickly and looks back away from you, happy to have you out of his hair as you make your way back towards the door.
Proud, what's going on?
Let's just go.
Oh.
Let's go outside.
Oh, okay.
All right, the two of you make your way back into the western courtyard. As you wait, with Fox rambling about swords, eventually, the three of you or the two of you see that same figure step back out through the portal, and then walk up to Gaius, and the two of them just sort of lean their heads closer towards each other, facing away from you guys.
Oh, I can't see any lips, can I? Because Lion's face is covered.
Lion's face is covered, and Gaius is facing away from you, so yes, you can't see anyone. So Proud and Perry, as you enter the courtyard, you see a bunch of figures standing around.
Oh, will you look at that? It's a party out here too.
And you recognize some of them from the tavern, Gaius and the guards that accompanied him, as well as a new, much larger figure standing off to the left.
We should probably promptly leave before we draw any attention.
Yeah, time to leave.
Perry, where's Ebony?
Ebony wasn't with me when I went to the party. What are you talking about?
Shit.
You should probably call her now. Like right now.
Oh, okay. Perry just whistles and tries to call Ebony then.
You whistle and wait about a minute or so. And then you hear the flapping of wings. And
Whoa, Ebony grew.
and then see Ebony soar over the rooftop and come to a rest on your shoulder, Perry, and let out a little hoot.
Well, look at that. It worked. I've been training Ebony to do that.
Okay, can we go now, please?
Let's go.
Time.
And great job, Perry. Good turning.
All right. First to step through the portal is Lion, who you can see sort of beyond the crackling light, sort of the shadow of a stone room, and he steps through, and it kind of disappears off into the shadows of that room. And then Gaius follows him. And then the large figure steps to the side and allows you to enter. And unless any of you do anything different, then each of you in turn steps through the crackling portal. Correct?
Correct.
Yep.
All right. Then just give me one sec.
Easiest escape ever, guys.
Guys, we
Just-
did it.
Just
I'm
get a
still
box.
not sure if we did the right thing or not, though.
It's not over yet.
That poor girl was
The shackles are
trembling.
still on.
That's
Good
true.
damn.
A part of me feels kind of bad for Lady Venetia, who's trembling.
We'll
brother.
talk about it off stream.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we're gonna talk about it right now, I think. In game.
Well, in character, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Off character, we'll talk about it off stream.
We still got a ways to go, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, we have to take 10 feet of steps and walk through a portal and magically appear somewhere that took us fucking forever to walk to.
You mean sail too?
Both. This music makes me feel so tense.
It's good music for it then.
It's great music for this scene. Just, I feel like my hair is growing white.
All right. Then, in turn, each of you step through the crackling portal and find yourselves in a rather small stone room, lit dimly by candlelight. You step through each one at a time, and the remaining guards follow you. And you take a look at your surroundings. There's a desk behind you and some cabinets, but the room itself is rather simple and constructed mostly of stone. Gaius steps forward, waiting for you all to leave the portal, and says, well then, welcome to Achi.
Now, the shackles that we have.
Indeed. One moment. And then you see him just sort of wave two fingers at the large figure. And he says, Ancestor of the portal. And you see the large armored figure just sort of hold one hand up and then snap his fingers. And the portal disappears from behind you. Oh. Gets me every time. All right.
That a big mustache on his face? What was that?
The classic forgot to switch back from drawing mode. Alright, Gaius takes another couple steps towards you as the portal fizzles and dies behind you, and the warm reddish pink light that was bathing this room fades from behind you. And he takes a couple steps forward and says, right then. Before I remove your shackles, I need the evidence. We need to provide it in court, of course, in order to successfully arrest my sister.
I look it down at the blood rose, and then back at Gaius, and then back at the blood rose, and then back at Gaius, and then I hand it to him.
He takes it. And then he takes a couple strides back towards the one that he called Ancestor, and hands it to the large figure, who takes it and then takes a couple steps back. Very good. I am a man of my word. Each of you hold out your bracelets. I will remove them.
Proud holds out his.
He bends over so that his mouth is quite close to your wrist, and you see him whisper. And then, with a click, a seam forms where there wasn't one in the bracelet, and then separates. And it, with a metallic clank, it falls to the stone floor below, leaving a reddish patch of skin that's been sort of rubbed raw beneath it. All right, who's next?
Fox will step up a little bit.
He steps over to you, leans over, again getting his mouth very close to the bracelet, and then yours too, in turn, clicks and falls to the floor, leaving that same reddish patch. He moves across to you and Perry. Ender?
Her first.
All right, very well. Hold out your wrist.
5 friendship bracelet.
He does the same thing, bending over and whispering, and then your friendship bracelet falls to the ground as well.
Very so sad. Thank you.
Well then, last one.
Before I hold out my arms, our names are going to be clear too, correct? This
Of
isn't
course.
just our bracelets gone.
Of course,
Okay.
in Carcassonne, provided you don't commit any more crimes, you are all now free men.
And then I hold out my wrists.
He leans down and does the same thing, and yours as well, clicks and falls to the ground.
Are our names known to the other parts of the continent? Or just Carcassonne?
I imagine whoever brought each of you in may remember your faces, though I imagine they bring in lots of prisoners, so their memories may be a bit hazy, but for the time being, until my pardon spreads throughout the realm, I would advise you to steer clear of rangers and town guards. If you are in Achi and any of the guards give you any trouble, simply bring up my name. And I'm sure they will leave you alone.
Well, freedom and a clear name is compensation that we were looking for, but we're also quite poor after just exiting prison. Not sure if some provisions to get on the road and help us get back to our normal lives would be
Or perhaps the equipment that was taken from us before we entered Basat.
Yes, I see. If you find an inn in Achi, I will cover your stay there for a few weeks. In the meantime, I will send out the pardons that I've written up, as well as send word to Basat to bring your supplies that were confiscated from you. and I will have them sent to the inn. How does that
Okay.
sound?
More
Does
than
it
fair.
does it matter which inn? Is there a way that we have to contact you, or will they just know?
They will know.
I also have one other very small, well, relatively small request, considering your stature.
Yes?
We weren't able to do this successfully without a little bit of help.
I see.
There's a couple that we promised a sum of gold for the attire to enter into the party. If they would be compensated for their willingness to offer that, it would put me at peace.
I see. How noble. If you give me their names, I should be able to find them somewhere in Luchen's, correct?
Yes, I believe so. I kind of lean over and look at Fox.
I'm here, I promise. I'm looking at notes, trying to find their names.
They need 400 gold pieces. They were apparently offered the job that we took over for them, and why you see two of our compatriots in a butler outfit and a maid outfit. It's a couple in Luchen's at the upscale tavern that's right by the harbor.
The woman's name is Lorraine, and I actually forgot the name of the husband because I didn't write it down.
His name was Flanbert.
Ah, yes, that's his name.
I see. It shouldn't be too difficult to locate them. I shall make sure that they are compensated for their part in all this. Now then. I thank you for your help. You came recommended to me by a contact of mine, and you didn't disappoint. I'm impressed.
Recommended.
What contact? Is there a way to meet this contact?
My contact typically tends to appear when he wishes to.
I think he's referring to the musician we met.
Does he have a name?
He asked that I simply call him Harlequin. I believe you've met him.
We have. But you sent us on this mission. Did you know she was hiding a blood rose?
In truth, I had my suspicions. I knew her and my father schemed something. And that would have been one of my guesses, though not my only one. I apologize for lying to you about the nature of the coup. You see, should word about a blood rose get out, it could cause quite a bit of hysteria, and I wish to keep that quiet.
She was a ruler of a major city in this nation, and she called you brother. I'm assuming you're the ruler of Achi. So what happens now? You try another ruler in your own city? In court?
Indeed, we shall see when that day arrives. Though, we do have quite damning evidence.
Do I
And
get
what
the
happened?
feeling that he's being truthful and
Make
that
an-
he's actually trying to get her trialed in court and found guilty?
Make an insight check.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I rolled fucking shit. 10.
You don't particularly get any inclination that he's lying. He's very calm. He doesn't seem to fidget or sweat much. So you don't get the sense that he is avoiding any questions or lying to you, no.
Okay.
And what'll happen to Luchen's?
That shall remain to be seen. It may come under my rule. It may have a temporary ruler put in place for the time being. We shall have to see.
There's also one detail that we didn't say before we left.
Yes?
Before we exited the party, there was a death that occurred from one of the guests.
Death?
It was a murder. A death that it was a murder.
Do we know it was a murder?
Yeah, we were told in the scroll.
Well, that's what I mean. Okay, was Fox told it was a murder by the staff?
That was what they suspected.
Yeah, they didn't definitively say.
They didn't definitively
Okay.
say, but I think that was the direction they were leaning from the way the conversations went. It
Okay.
didn't seem like any sort of natural cause. He says, guy says, a death, you say? You don't happen to know which guest?
It was
Galloway.
Gustav Galloway.
Galloway. Well, I don't see how that relates. I don't see why my sister would have any motive to perform something like that. Especially not at her own event. It is rather
Well,
odd, though.
I have two main worries about that. First,
Yes?
I'm sure everyone at that party is a suspect until proven innocent, and we were all at that party.
I see.
But second, those were powerful people in there, and if your sister is removed from power, and one of those people were the culprit of that crime, I would hate to see that person then take power, follow your sister's footsteps.
Well, whoever attempts to step into the power vacuum left behind will have me to deal with, and I can guarantee you I have quite a bit more sway than anyone at some masquerade ball. But I understand your concern. As for you lot being suspects, thank you for telling me. I will make sure that most folk remember that you were never there. How does that sound?
Kind of take a big gulp and nod my head.
I don't mean it to sound so sinister. Anyone can be bought, especially rich nobles at a vain party.
Fair enough.
Now then, I believe that concludes our business. Is there anything you need from me?
Will we be seeing you again, or do we pretend that we've never seen you?
I don't foresee any event in which we will meet again.
I guess while we wait in Hachi for our names to clear, we'll want to leave Carcassonne as soon as your influence spreads. Is there an opportunity for me and my friends to work on the docks to help build a ship of our own volition?
Well,
Opportunity supplies.
there are shipyards in Achi. Should you head down there, there may be passage on a passenger ship should you wish to leave, or perhaps a boat for purchase of your own.
I see. Thank you.
He takes a couple strides towards his desk, opens a drawer, and pulls something out of it, and then turns back towards you. We're getting... Someone's got some background noise. All good? Okay, good. He takes a couple strides back towards you, and you see him holding a rather hefty pouch. And says, I take good care of those who do right by me. And hands it just to whoever holds out their hand first.
I already walked forward.
Gotcha. All right, he'll hand it to you. He hands you a rather heavy pouch that sort of clanks as you take it from him.
I give him a bow. Thank you, Gaius.
And that should cover provisions as well as a portion of passage should you wish to leave.
You don't by chance know the closest inn that's nearby?
There are several inns in Achi. Simply find one that suits you, and I will arrange your stay.
Thank you again. We have a lot to discuss.
Indeed. If that is all, then I have much to do. He just sort of looks across to each of you, waiting to see if you have
Ender's
anything
gonna
else to say.
take a big breath and then start to walk out of the room.
He
and-
sees you begin to walk and says, Raven, escort them out.
As I get to the door, I'm gonna turn around and look at the blood rose on the desk.
It still sits there in the glass case. And Raven pauses, seeing that you stop to turn around, and says, just through this door then?
Yeah, just through the door.
And he waits for you to leave.
I'll exit.
Are you ready, Betty?
Yeah, sorry, but it's a little bit frozen. Yeah, okay.
Do you want to move you?
Did someone cast Hold Person? What's wrong?
Alright, you're good.
Man, don't make fun of me. I was frozen with fear.
Alright. So you make your way through this door, and as soon as you open it, Ender, you are struck with sunlight and warmth. Seems like the sun is beginning to rise. It's been quite a night. And the early hours of dawn are hitting as you step outside.
I just
Big.
whoa. I look in the direction of the sun and just kind of whisper to myself, "It's good to see you too."
Alright. Just one sec. So you stand, as you make your way to the stone room, you step out onto grass with a stone path in front of you. And stretching up behind you are tall castle walls. And before you, you see a small stone fence with bushes sort of lining it. Off to your right is a sturdy-looking metal gate. And straight out in front of you is a cliff's edge. And far beyond it, you can see the wide ocean stretching out as the sun just begins to rise. And you stand out here, breathing in the fresh air. Your first few steps outside as free men.
And woman.
We have a woman.
Three people. Proud's gonna use shape water to take water from the ocean.
It is
And-
quite far down.
Yeah, is it just 30 feet away?
What's the range on your shape water again?
Shape water is 30 feet.
Okay, it's way too far down. You are standing high up on a cliff's edge. It is very far down.
Proud will not do that then.
I'm gonna take the insect mask off I have,
Oh yeah.
and then I'm just gonna walk over to the cliff edge and just chuck it into the ocean.
All right. You see it fall down well past 100 feet and land amongst the rocks at the bottom with the waves crashing against them.
Oh shit. I'm wearing my wager's clothes. I didn't bring my other pair.
Yeah, I left my armor in the hotel room, so the next guest is gonna have a pleasant surprise when they find that.
I pack light and Ebony is still with me.
Good job, Petty.
Alright, let's go find a place to sleep. I'm exhausted.
I hold up the sword. What the fuck is this? Where'd this come from?
Just don't ask questions.
That's what our group does. We ask questions.
How about
I'll
we
tell you this.
how about we tell each other everything whenever we get to the hotel?
Further off down beyond this gate, you can see sort of more castle courtyards. And from behind you, you hear Raven say, "It's just down this way," and he points off in the opposite direction.
Oh. Yeah, I probably should have asked that first.
You ever want to teach me how to do that cool trick? Let me know.
You get no reaction from him.
Excuse me, sir. Do you think that you can maybe help us and give us our other stuff back?
What things?
In the old hotel, my friend lost his armor, and then also I'm pretty sure Perry left her backpack there. But that's okay because Perry's backpack has a P on it. It says P for Perry. Can you grab it for me, please?
All right, I will mention it to guys.
Oh, great, wonderful, thank you. Perry gives him a hug and then runs away.
He does not really accept your hug. He just sort of stands stone still.
Bye, friend.
All right. I don't have all of Achi prepared as that is extreme and requires a lot of work. So this will be Theater of the Mind.
Cool, I love playing that way anyway.
Man, you guys called me grumpy. He was very, very not emotional.
What are you talking about? He was very nice. He said he'll grab our stuff for us.
Yeah, but did he hug you?
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. I can see him. Very.
And the equipment we got before we were taken into Passat.
That's nice, I will admit. That's quite a bit of equipment, honestly.
Well, we'll figure it all out once we get all the stuff.
We
I'm not
sell
sure
it so that way you can pay Perry back all the gold.
Ah, this inn looks nice. Let's go in here.
Well, you wind your way down this path along this cliff's edge, and with the cliff on one side and the castle on the other. And before too long, you arrive at another gate where a guard in armor that you don't recognize. It sort of resembles Lion and the other one's armor, but much more simple. And even the architecture of this place is unique, completely different from Achi. Lots of pillars and columns and use of marble. and you arrive at another metal gate with a guard standing in front of it. And you make your way up to him, and he goes, "Are you the ones that His Majesty mentioned?"
Yes, sir.
"I see. Right on through here and down the steps, you'll make your way out of the castle." And he begins to sort of fidget with the door, opening this gate and allowing you to pass through.
You wouldn't have a recommendation for an inn close by, would you?
He stops and hang on, wait. I just got disconnected from Roll20. Hope that doesn't spread to the stream. Let me see. I'm just gonna try to refresh for a sec. I think it fixed itself. I'm hoping it's not a internet issue, it's just a Roll20 issue. But,
Yeah, I still can move my character and everything.
yeah, I think it just disconnected me. I think I'm back. Should be fine. Alright. The guard just sort of thinks for a moment and goes, well, depends on your price range, I suppose.
Fox, what's our price range?
Middle income.
In the middle, not too expensive, not too, ramshackle. Is that what you mean?
That's correct. Enough to feel comfortable, but not like we need to spend a shit ton of money.
I'll get what you mean. I suppose you could check out the Vengeful Barricade. It's, around center of town.
Perfect.
Some signs out front, shouldn't be able to miss it.
Thank you for your help.
Alright, on your way then. And he gets back to his post, allowing you to pass through this gate. Off in front of you, you can see these massive set of marble steps that are almost like pristine and white, that travel all the way down. You sort of realize that you're standing along like a point of a cliff's edge, high up, kind of overlooking this massive city. And the steps lead down quite some ways towards the city below. And you can see buildings throughout Achi. They all look very proper. The city itself very well organized, with sort of centralized squares and districts separated out from what you can see standing above the city. Again, the architecture is quite different from Luchen's. Lots of marble, lots of statues adorning everything. Throughout the stairs, as you look down, you can see the occasional guard kind of stationed at certain points of the massive steps, including some all the way down towards the bottom, as you begin your rather tiring trek downwards. And as you do, the sounds of the ocean begin to sort of fade behind you as you make your way away from the cliff's edge towards the city proper. And as you descend, you can see the occasional regiment of soldiers marching, making their way in the opposite direction, back up the steps, adorned in the same armor as the guards, and carrying spears and shields, all marching perfect in unison. From what you've gathered, the reputation of Achi and its more militaristic style is true to form and accurate, as you see plenty of soldiers marching about the castle grounds as you make your way away from them. And you follow the steps until you eventually reach the bottom of them, leading to a long street with commoners bustling about. They wear different garb than what you saw in Drosis and what you saw in Luchen's. They wear mostly robes, less tunics and trousers. From what you can gather, you seem to be in a richer part of town, as most of them are wearing nicer clothing, and the buildings here are large and stand tall on either side of the road. From what you gathered at the top of the steps, seemed like there was sort of a central part in town, a square. So as you make your way around this sort of noble district, you head towards that central square.
Here, Perry, wrap this around you. And I kind of take off my cloak and put it over her shoulders, so she's not just walking around in a maid outfit.
Did I look cold or something?
No, I just thought you might want to cover up your uniform until we got different clothes.
Oh, I see. You think I'm embarrassed by it? Okay, that's okay. I'll take your fancy cloak as payment for the gold that you owe me.
Wait, what?
Thank you. Wonderful. Perry will take your nice cloak now.
As we walk, I'm just looking at different storefronts or buildings we're passing by to see if I can glean any information about what's around us.
Yeah, you see the occasional market stall, selling various wares, grapes, olives, things like that. Loudly calling out to you to get your attention in an attempt to have you buy something as you pass through. As you make your way through the city, paying attention to what's on either side of you, you get the sense that you're heading away from the noble district, more towards a central markets, as the market stalls become more and more frequent.
Okay. If I don't see the Vengeful Barricade anytime soon, I'm gonna stop and ask a random person walking by for directions.
Yeah, you ask some people who are just sort of hurrying by about their own business, and they pause for a moment as you sort of hail one, and it's a middle-aged woman with black hair with streaks of gray going through it, sort of olive skin, and she is wearing white robes, and she says, yes, hello. Is there something you needed?
Oh yeah, sorry, my friends and I are new in town, and we're looking for an inn called the Vengeful Barricade. Would you happen to know where that is?
Yes, it's just off the square. And she sort of like takes a moment to look around, to kind of orient herself, and says, if you follow this street here, I suppose you can take an alley if you want to cut through, and down the street a bit further off in the same direction you headed, you should arrive at the central square in the middle of the city, and from there you should see signs for the Vengeful Barricade.
Okay, thank you very much.
Happy to help you. Is that all you needed?
That's more than helpful. That's all I need.
All right. And she makes her way, continuing off in the opposite direction of you guys. 1 sec, I'm going to be right back. Just 5 minutes. So take a bathroom break if you need to.
Officially free.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
What's going on?
Just taking 2 seconds to do something.
Building Olivachi in this 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, just 1 more minute and Achi will be done.
Look, guys, he wasn't ready for us to be like, hey, take us home. Obviously.
I think it's more like he wasn't ready to build 5 different outcomes that we could have potentially taken. So he waited like a normal person.
That's something like what I did. It wouldn't have been completely done, so I didn't want to just half-ass it, so I just left it.
Totally understandable.
Okay, one last thing. Need to adjust to the outcome. All right, okay. So, you make your way through the city after getting directions from that woman on the side of the street. What do you do?
To the Vengeful Barricade.
So do you want to follow her directions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So cutting through an alley then?
Sure, I don't know any better, so
Alright. Then, as you cut through the alley, with the sounds of the city echoing behind you, you see someone sitting along one of the walls of the buildings.
Is that who I think it is?
As you make your way toward the figure, you recognize them. It is the street rat from the shady side of Luchen's.
as we approach, does it look like she recognizes us?
She looks at you as you approach and just sort of quietly sits there watching you as you walk closer.
What the hell are you doing here?
You see her grin and then she says, "Spare a coin?"
How about you spare some answers?
And she lets out a small chuckle and then her skin begins to melt. And as it does, you see her shimmer slightly. And then before you sits a different figure.
God damn it, it's fucking Harlequin. This sneaky bastard.
I think that's a good outcome for what's about. Oh, never mind.
You were saying, Mr. Rory Wart?
None.
And you see the masked figure from before that appeared to you as you left the prison, now sitting, resting up against the edge of this alley here.
are you, and why did you hide from us? If you've met us before, why didn't you just show yourself? Why did you masquerade as some poor woman?
He reaches behind him into basically just nothing, and then as he pulls his hand back out, with it comes a lute that just sort of appears from impossible space. And then he rests it on his knee and begins to play as he begins to speak again. And he says, "Well, I had to keep my eye on you, of course."
Why did you not believe we would get the job done?
Well, you are first-time hires. It's policy to keep an eye on the first-timers.
What do you think now?
I'm impressed.
Do you work for Gaius? Does he work for you?
Neither would be more appropriate. Gaius came to me with a job that needed to be fulfilled, and I found people who were capable of fulfilling it. And I must say you did fit the bill quite well.
How'd you know we were escaping Basat?
Well, I told you already. And I was already in there.
Ask many faces you are.
Perry's confused.
Are you a god like Amata?
A god? Nothing quite so fancy as that. Though very flattering, thank you.
I've never seen such magic before, until literally 5 minutes ago, when some giant stone bastard caused a portal to appear and brought us to Etchy.
As he talks, he continues playing, but you see his features shift again. Oh, never mind. Might be gone. The art's gone. Never mind. You see his features shift again, and this time he is Charlie Two Eyes.
Perry's even more confused. What?
So that's how you knew everything.
Well, of course. This time he's speaking as Charlie Two Eyes, but he doesn't have the same accent that Charlie had. And then slowly his features melt again, and he's back to the mask. I'm always watching.
But what's in it for you? I don't get this.
Is there something you want from us?
From you? Not particularly, no. I needed contractors for a job, and you fit the bill. I took a look at your files in the prison, and you seemed appropriate for this job. So I used you.
We need contractors.
Of course, that's what I am after all. I'm a fixer.
Well, why did you want to help Gaius, though?
Gaius had coin, and I wanted Gaius's coin. Simple as that.
So you were the middleman.
I suppose that's an appropriate title.
So I share yourself again to us now.
Well, I had to congratulate my hard workers for a job well done.
Do you give us a reward?
Have you not received your reward from your employer?
Nope, he seemed to have forgotten.
Very funny.
But I'm not
Fox,
laughing.
he's not going to part with any of his coin.
I just want to know why he's here, man. This is just confusing. It almost feels like he's showing off.
He is, in a way.
Well, there was a purpose. You see, when someone does a job well done, I pay attention to that. And then when more jobs need doing, and they're available, I check back in.
So can we assume that no matter where we go, you'll be able to find us and tell us about jobs?
With enough time, yes, I'll find you. But only if you're interested in working for me.
So do you have another job for us? Are you just going to appear when you have one?
At the moment, I do not. I merely wanted to ask you if you're interested.
I can't speak for the others. It's much too soon, and we don't even know the consequences of what we did. We just heard a promise of freedom, and we took it.
I see.
I suppose you'll just have to figure out your answer whenever you have a job.
Perhaps. Tell me, have any of you heard of the open hand?
Fox opens his hand. What do you mean? Like how to open your hand?
You mean the brass hand?
You heard about this. We're the brass hand.
I'm going to take that as a no.
No, we don't know, obviously. Would have told you if we did.
Can I roll a history check to see if I've heard of the brass or the open hand?
Ender, you wouldn't have. Probably the only person might be proud.
I can try to roll to remember, but
Sure.
all right. Yeah, an 8.
Alright. It sticks in the back of your head, but you can't place it. You think perhaps you may have heard it before, but you can't place what it is.
Only name, not any purpose or anything beyond that, and only as a rumor.
Are you a part of this rumor?
No. Oh,
I'm talking to Harlequin. I know you're not.
Well, that was why I brought it up, of course.
Are you trying to recruit the brass hand to be a part of the open hand?
Well, I'm not sure what this whole brass hand business is, but does seem rather appropriate.
so what does the open hand do? I mean,
Work. Just like the work that you performed. A fixer
well,
is your contact, and they offer to arrange jobs. You complete those jobs, and you remain on good standing with us.
Do these jobs ruin other people's lives the same way that we just did that woman's?
He looks at you, Ender, for a moment, and then at the others. This one's a tad dramatic, eh?
well,
Come Perry in.
Can you answer his question at least?
Perry's in the guard list.
It's not our business to worry about the outcomes. We simply do the jobs. And that's how this works.
I feel like I already know the answer, but if the fixer gives us the job and we don't want to take it,
Then you turn him down. Simple.
oh, I assume there'd be a dire consequence, but glad to hear that we have some agency.
Of
What are
course.
what are the benefits? Do we get like a package or a 401k?
It depends on your standing with the organization. You've already completed a job for us, and it was quite well done. Which is why I'm offering you this opportunity. Should you continue to stay in good standing, then there are several benefits. And access to some of our resources. Should you do right by us, we may find you a safe house of sorts in a city of your choosing.
Well, each job is likely different,
Of course.
but I think all of us would prefer jobs that, if we are to fix things, can fix things by making them right or better. I don't know if this open hand considers morals, but actions that could be morally beneficial or morally good. I think those jobs are ones we'd be interested in.
I must admit, a little disappointing. Perhaps you're not cut from our cloth after all.
Excuse me, is he allowed to speak for the rest of us?
No. You may speak if you wish.
Can we just have maybe like 2 days to converse as a group before we talk to you again, Harlequin? Just so we have a concise answer.
Of course. Take your time.
What inn are we staying at again, guys? I already forgot.
Oh, don't worry. I'll find you. And then he disappears.
Great. Another person who knows how to disappear and doesn't fucking teach me. Shall we go get some residents and discuss all of this crap?
Yeah. Vengeful Barricade, right, Ender?
Proud tried to speak for the rest of us, and I don't know how to feel about that.
We can talk about it in the end.
Andrew just starts walking.
Alright, you cut your way through the rest of the alley and come to a large square with more market stalls. You can see the buildings that line the outside of the square. All have signs on them, and you rather quickly find one that says the Vengeful Barricade. It seems like the guard described, sort of middle of the road. Not incredibly fine establishment, but also not falling apart like the Wanton Whisper. And you open up the door to see not too many folk, as it is rather early in the morning. A couple people just sort of quietly eating their breakfast at a table, and an old innkeeper standing behind the bar. But other than that, it's relatively quiet.
Fox, you have the coin. Can you get us 2 rooms?
I'm gonna walk up and say, we're connected to Gaius. Can you procure us 2 rooms?
You see him sort of pause for a moment with like an incredulous look on his face, and he goes, Yeah.
He said he'll take care of the payment.
It
would be appreciated.
I see.
Keys, please.
Of course. And he just sort of stutters his way through. Still with the same incredulous look on his face, he rummages around and passes you. 4, is it?
Just 2 rooms will do. Thank you.
All right. And he hands you 2 keys.
I appreciate that. Let's go.
As we, is it upstairs?
Yeah, there's a staircase in the corner
Okay.
that leads upstairs.
As we walk upstairs and find our 2 rooms, I'll walk into the one that Perry's gonna stay in, and take a pillow and blanket out of that one and pull it into the other room.
Do you just want to move the bed over?
Nah, well, let's just. It's just one night. We can just move the pillow. I'll be fine.
It's just one night.
For now, we don't know how long we're staying here.
Yeah.
If we're staying here longer, we can rearrange things. But just for tonight, I can sleep on the floor. It's not a big deal.
All right.
All right, you make your arrangements. The rooms are rather comfortable. A bed with a chest at the end of each of the frames. A small closet to put your things in each of the corners, and a little side table next to each of the beds, with a small vase with flowers in it. It's still quite early in the morning, but the light streams through some of the windows.
Ender's just gonna pass out.
You all feel quite exhausted as you've been up pretty much the entire night with all the excitement.
Proud will unmask and try to go to sleep in the room with him, Fox and Ender, if he can.
Fuck that. Fox wants to study the sword for an hour. He wants to know what the hell this is.
All right. Fox, you take a look at the sword. It has a very ornately decorated sheath with a similarly decorated hilt, and the blade itself is indeed a lightly curved katana. It looks like the ones from your homeland, though not exactly the pattern that you recognize in the swords you made. Seemingly most likely from a different clan than you're from. The blade itself, as you take it out and hold it in your hand, almost seems to hum slightly. And as you hold it, you feel something sort of well up inside you. And you get the sense that this blade wants to taste blood.
Well, Fox is gonna sit that down, and he's very creeped out now, so he's gonna struggle to fall asleep, and probably not fall asleep for the next couple hours, now that you just embedded that terrible thought into his head.
All right. Each of you sort of sits down and tries to rest. Some of you drifting off rather easily as you've had quite a night. And sleep eventually finds each of you. And when you awake, it is nearing the evening, and you've slept through most of the day. You roll out of... Yeah, go ahead.
Ender's gonna sit up. Kind of looking around and probably see that Fox is still asleep. But go over to Proud. So, what do you make of all this?
Well, we just gave up a potentially powerful, deadly item to a ruler of a militaristic city who now doesn't have any opposition in his own kingdom. And we're potentially being recruited to try to put up more similar missions who don't seem to have any moral clarity, but rather just who goes to the highest bidder.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
I think we fucked up.
I mean, I don't think we had a choice.
What would have happened if we had just taken the blood rose and just ran away?
Then we have Gaius and the lady chasing after us.
But we keep it out of their hands.
Yeah, but they're far more powerful than us. I don't know how long we could actually stay on the run.
Well, I think we are going to have to study the blood rose more. Now that we know that Gaius has it, we can at least figure out how deadly it is and maybe come up with a reason why he might use it. Or how he might use it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because we didn't have enough information to know who was in the right and who was in the wrong there.
No.
And it's especially complicated when they're family.
Yeah. I don't particularly care for their family squabble, but I don't like either of them having the power that they currently wield, especially Gaius right now. But I worry about joining the Open Hand as well. If that was a first mission, what else could be future ones? We might have toppled a ruler the very first thing we did with them. What the hell could be next?
I don't know. I don't have time to worry about that. We have other things that we have to do instead of worrying about contract work for some random organization.
I don't think they're random. I don't remember a lot about them. I just know that anyone who spoke about them, even if they were just wild rumors, were scared. That's all I remember.
Well, maybe we can find something out walking around the city. Maybe there's a, I don't know, a library or something.
Maybe. I think we need to get a ship and wherever we want to go next, head off. Maybe to Ikamura, maybe to Port Penitent to study the blood rose. Maybe back to go see your family again.
Yeah. There's some things I want to do before we set off, though.
Yeah, I think we should take our time. I don't think there's any need to rush.
What's going on?
No worries. Just talking.
Here, I'll be right back. No, I'm gonna go knock on Perry's door.
Alright, Perry, you hear a knock?
Excuse me, Perry is very zen right now. What would you like?
We're talking in the other room if you want to come join us.
About what?
Our future goals.
Ew, why would you talk about future? So
We're talking about
early in the
Duna
morning?
coins, Perry. Come on. Come over here.
I feel like you have to roll a persuasion check for that.
Okay.
Perry feels like she doesn't want to come with you.
11.
You actually rolled. Perry's just gonna go ahead and come with him. This is ridiculous. Perry was so zen.
Sorry to mess up your zen, Perry.
Perry reluctantly comes with him, and while she's walking behind him, she's like stomping her feet.
Alright. Eventually, the whole group is now together.
So what's next for us?
We've got a couple weeks in this room. Let's take advantage of it, gather our bearings, wait for all of our stuff to get back, and as we're doing that, talk about what the next move is.
Perry would like to join the open hand.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily see what's wrong in it either, mostly because it gives us resources and we may need those for Ender, and I could certainly use them for Ikamura.
I agree with that, but it's just so sketchy.
They never said we had to agree on our job just because we are fit for our job.
You heard him answer my question, though. We're not going to get anything that is going to be helping other people or good.
I think
We're
that,
just going to the highest bidder.
I mean, that's true. We're going to the highest bidder, but that doesn't mean that the cause isn't genuine or it could actually help others. It just means that it's not the main concern.
What?
Which I'm not saying is right, and you should put others first. But maybe that's something that we can change.
I mean, the job we just did, like, if Gaius is telling the truth, then we did a good thing. We put Lady Venetia in a place where she can be punished for crimes she's committed. The problem is, I just don't trust Gaius. Like, I don't know what his intentions are. And that can be said for any of the future jobs if we agree to this. It's very gray in its morality, so I'm not. I think it can be useful, though. I agree. It's very complicated.
I guess it just depends on how willing you are to care.
I think it also matters on your perspective. Because when you look at it your way, I see your point. But if you look at it from the other side of the coin, we just helped take care of a woman who was killing others for a rose.
I mean, we assume that.
Right.
That she and her
We don't know
father
a lot
wanted to.
about the rose, but we know it involves murder, which she took part of. If she has one, she had to take part of.
Why? Why do we assume that? I was looking for the same thing, and I've never killed anyone.
It was in a room full of plants that attacked you.
Well, Ender, you also never had an actual rose. She had the real thing.
But those are powerful people. Just because she had it doesn't mean that she killed a bunch of people. Not saying that she didn't do it. I'm just saying we don't have enough information to know that she was the actual, she was the bad person in that side of the transaction.
Well,
I'm not saying that it's not plausible. It definitely is, and all signs point to her being that person.
Ender, debating about this is pointless, though. We did what we did.
No, but that's not my point. My point is, if we're accepting that we're going into morally gray area in that conflict, why wouldn't we be going into morally gray conflict in future endeavors with them? That's my point. It's just very sketchy on the end of not knowing whether or not we're doing the right thing.
The three of you didn't have a problem with this one. Why would you have a problem with the others?
Because there's nothing holding us accountable in future endeavors.
Sorry.
We had to do this because it cleared our names.
Perry, what were you trying to say?
Perry doesn't have a problem with it. To be honest with you, why are we complaining about putting power into one person's hand only for it to go to another person's hand? Either way, it's gonna go into some person's hand. You get what I'm saying? You guys are kind of looking into this a little bit too much. Perry's in it for the money and the connections because let's be serious here. I don't want to go back to jail, so more friends equals more connections equals no jail time.
Also, more logs in your monster manual. Right? Aren't you still working on your monster manual?
Oh, yes, you're correct. Perry just wants to travel a little bit more. Maybe these people know where all the monsters are.
I think, though, with the opportunity to turn down any job we don't wish, I think I was
Yeah.
in the wrong to reject the open hand outright. But
Or
we
yourself.
yeah, we shouldn't be enthusiastic about just accepting any job that comes through.
Yeah, I'm willing to do it if we make a promise to each other that we're gonna only choose jobs that help people.
Well, I don't think we're going to get a lot of those, but I think there should be a rule that we don't take a job unless we all unanimously agree that we want to take it.
Okay. I can live by those standards.
Perry, Fox?
If that means we can continue, I suppose only because I want this power and opportunity as soon as I can get it.
Perry?
Perry doesn't care either way, to be honest with you. Perry will do whatever she pleases, and right now this is more convenient.
All right. Well, that's settled for the brass hand. We'll be open to
Open
the
hand.
open hand, but, well, the open brass hand. We'll be,
It's
we
getting
can
complicated
accept.
now.
Yeah, well, we can accept, but every member of the brass hand has to unanimously agree for us to take any job. Well,
Okay,
I think
so
that's everything.
Can we talk about the rings that you guys got?
Well, I don't know how important those are. I think we've got time to take care of them. We got a couple weeks at least. But I think maybe we should. What should we focus on next? I mean, we can say yes to the open hand, but we should also not just wait around for a job. We should try to accomplish what we want on our own.
Fox would like to count the money.
yeah, what do we have?
Right, you spend some time as you're talking, counting up that coin. You have 400 gold in that pouch.
Well, that's
Okay.
100 for each of us.
Everybody takes 109 gold.
Hmm?
Everyone takes 109 gold. And
Why?
5
Where are
Why
you getting the extra?
109?
Where are you getting the extra 36 from?
because I did the math.
For 400?
Oh, I thought you said 438.
Nope.
No, weirdly specific.
Dude, I don't know.
Gaius was debating on giving you 436, but he was like, a little more. And he tossed a couple extra coins in there.
My bad, guys.
It's fine. 400,
I don't
yes.
know why he's calculating that. I was like, what are you doing?
Okay. Guess I gave everyone 100 gold.
All right. Well,
Oh, by the way, that sword is very creepy.
How's that?
I got the feeling that it yearned for blood.
well, the name is Violent Fang, so you got to figure.
We're a group that just debated on doing something that was morally gray. This sword is not morally gray.
You
Isn't
can
it
use
from
it.
your home?
It is, yes. This is absolutely made by an Ikaruran.
I mean, it's just a tool. You can use the tool for good.
It's not always true.
You can only. The thing about the Ikaruran swords is that they're made to be an extension of yourself. And in doing so, that can carry a sense of a soul or a feeling or a desire into a weapon. And that's like trying to change someone who is bad to be good, or vice versa. It's not easy, and sometimes it's impossible.
Well, if you're scared, then let's sell it.
No, hold up. I didn't say I was scared. All right. I'm just saying, I don't want to hurt anyone, namely you guys, if it decides that it wants your blood. That's all I'm saying.
It's
So-
cute you think you can take all three of us down with a sword. We'll be fine.
All right, well, if I go crazy, I trust you guys to help me not kill you all.
Don't worry. If you're possessed, Ender and Perry have experience taking you out.
Don't worry, I know how to cure possession. I kicked his ass when he was a doll.
Well, I mean, that was a doll. I'll be in my own body, and I'm not as frail. But I digress. Can we talk about the rings? Those are really bugging me.
Well, it's going to take some time to inspect them, and we don't have a complete set.
How many rings do we have?
We have 6. We've got blue, red, green, indigo, purple, and orange.
Should we just start picking some and going through and seeing what they do? Maybe they don't do anything, but if, and this is from what you guys told me, if it does have some magic to it, it'll have some kind of property, surely.
Well, Ender and Perry know how to see if there's any magic. Only
Yeah,
give 3D
I
for
mean,
them.
I've already inspected them. They have divination magic with them, but we tried them on and they didn't do anything immediately. So we'd probably have to spend a good while with them before we know exactly what they did.
I just realized something, guys. Was the lady still wearing her ring? Because I don't know if the other people know that, but we still don't know what it does.
Yes, unfortunately, they still have her who has the ring that we didn't take, but they don't know that we have her other rings.
I also don't know if we're going to be able to get that yellow ring back.
I mean, I don't think it matters honestly that much.
Yeah.
Can I have a ring? I want to look at it.
It's on the
Sure.
purple.
I'll give Perry the purple one. Which one do you want, Fox?
Well, my favorite color is yellow, but I guess I'll take green.
Brad will hand Fox the green ring.
All right.
Fox would like to take whatever time it takes to study and try and identify what the hell this ring does.
Brad will do the same for the blue ring.
All right.
Sure.
You spend
Red
some
ring.
time in that afternoon trying to determine the nature of these rings. Ender with the most magical prowess of the group. As you inspect it, doesn't seem to do anything. It has some divination magic on it, but from what you can gather, there's no actual effect of the ring. Seems as though the divination magic was merely to locate lost or stolen items.
Okay. And everyone else feels the same.
Yeah, you explain that to them and they get the same sort of vibe. from their
Okay.
rings that none of them particularly do anything. It's simply a noblewoman's set of rings that she was not willing to lose.
Oh god. Okay, it's like a divination tag almost. So like if you lost it, you could go search for it.
Yeah, imagine you lost your car keys in your house
Okay.
and you could just mentally look for them.
That'd be pretty awesome, actually.
Something like that, yes.
All right.
Well,
We can.
they're at
Oh, sorry,
least
go
a little more valuable than normal ring. What else do we find? I have these glasses and a fancy pipe.
I think that's it though.
Well, Perry's got a couple things.
What are you talking about?
The necklace and the hummingbird.
That Paris necklace? We already established that.
Well, could be magical. Might make you more
No,
powerful.
I
if you
already
collected
checked
enough.
it. It's not magical.
Oh,
Yeah,
Well.
the golden necklace and silver pendant that Perry has don't seem to have any sort of magical properties to them, but they do seem like they might fetch a good price if they were sold.
could trade it in for gold, Perry.
No, Paris already wearing it.
Fox would like to take this time to study further and become one with the sword.
Okay.
If that's something he needs to do. I don't know how this works.
You do need to attune to it, yes.
wonder-
I'll give the details a little bit later
Oh, guys, I just kind of remembered.
because
You
I'll
think the
put the item in your inventory.
Guys, do you think the librarian's gonna get mad at us because we're not gonna be able to return the books?
What are you talking about? Perry bought her books.
Yeah,
I
we're
returned my book already.
Oh, well,
I mean, she already hated you, honestly, to begin with, so it's
That's
not really
true.
a big deal.
I guess Proud's gonna take a look at the map and try to look through the book. Oh, well, I don't have the book with me. It'd be in my bag. So I guess Proud can't do that right now. Well,
We might get that stuff back. We'll see.
Yeah. Are we done talking? I need to go find the water and pray for a bit.
Okay. Yeah.
So we definitively do want to side with the open hand, correct?
We want to
There's
at
some-
least be no pun intended open to any jobs that they have, and then on our own terms. Where do you want to go? Ender, do you want to go see your family in Lyrethia? Fox,
I
do you
mean, of
wanna
course I
go?
do, but I don't have any way to help them quite yet, so I need to keep searching.
Fox, do we want to go to Ikamura?
I absolutely want to go back. Something I don't think I actually quite told you last time. So the reason why I left was because, long story short, there was an event that I was going to be a part of. It was ruined. Ikamura was being attacked. I don't really know much details. I think it might have had to do with a clan, but I don't really know. It's been a while since I've been gone because the travel takes so long. But I kind of want to go back to see what has happened, what the state is in, and if my
Well,
father is alive.
Yeah. We can investigate and find answers. That seems pretty pressing. Plus, a far off island, I don't know, nation might have some information or answers to things that aren't commonly known on the continent.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
You all have helped me, so I'm willing to go with you and help you.
I appreciate that. The whole point was for me to find people to gather strength. I appreciate you all to help me.
You got yourself thrown in prison to find others?
Look, I couldn't just have someone be abused by a stupid noble. Nobles where I'm from aren't that foolish and irresponsible with their power.
No, that's a rare sight these days. Well, in that case, I'm gonna head off to the water. All right.
Okay.
Don't go down any creepy alleyways.
Hey, Perry Fox, do you want to go shopping? See what we can find around the city?
I like shopping. Should be.
Sure, Perry will come with.
Yeah, we'll entertain you. Just remember, we're not getting anything we don't already get from our bags when we first started our journey, and the bags we had, potentially, when we were halfway through our journey.
Sure. But who knows what we'll find here? Maybe some unique things will be useful.
Maybe I'll find another magic lantern.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much they're gonna enjoy the imp inside of that once they realize they're stuck with it, I guess.
I gave them a warning, but low-key, I kind of hoped that they were curious and opened it up, because why not?
And they still have the magnifying glass.
We still do have that.
Oh, that's good. Does it still look fucked up?
I don't know, Jay, does it still look fucked up?
It still has that small little hairline fracture, but seems to be functioning properly. Only a small little fracture along it. All right. So, Proud off in search of either the water or perhaps a church of Seneschal if you can find one. And the rest of you off to spend the last few hours of the evening looking around the markets. Then that is where we will end this season
Oh, damn, the whole season. Okay. Nice.
of Fresh Meat and Prison Streets. When we return, there'll be a new campaign name to better suit what they do.
We did it, guys!
Play your little
Oh, God. I still don't know if I like what we did, though.
I mean, we look. I mean, our choices were made far, far long ago.
Oh, yeah.
We simply carried them out. Anything we could have done to change the outcome, like you mentioned, would have put us in another tense situation.
It's a fun conclusion, though.
Yeah.
So, level up.
Is that worthy?
I'll talk to you guys about it in between. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. This is a really fun portion of a campaign to run. You have not seen the end of these characters. They're just going to be at a little hiatus point where they take a new direction with their campaign, and it gives me time to work. So a new campaign will be taking the place of the rotation. Might not be in the same time slot. I'll have to announce that when I figure it out. So there will still be 3 concurrent sessions or campaigns running at a time, and it'll be a new one that will start up relatively soon. I don't know if it'll be right away next week. I'll have to see how players get back to me. But it should be pretty darn soon. And that will be Seas of Sand. And the next actual session or stream that will happen will be this Sunday with Class of Crows at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And then after that, on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, is Hearth and Home. And then from there, we shall see when Seas of Sand starts.
So, does that mean that the one-shot is going to happen just later on?
Yeah, it'll probably happen kind of in the middle. It won't wait till all the new campaigns are going. It'll probably happen sometime in the middle. It's just I wanted to get this one started since it was pretty much almost ready. So I figured rather than waking people wait, if the players need extra time, then I might just start it. So we'll see. I'll make an announcement on my Twitter if you want to follow that, and I'll do it on the Discord for you guys too. If you want to read more about some of the stuff that we referenced in this episode, you can check out the World Anvil, which is linked below. That link, I think, works now. There's a change in the URL, so it was down for a little bit, but it should be back now. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. If you're watching the VOD, thank you as well. And thank you players for playing. This was very, very fun past couple of months.
Thanks for DMing.
This was such a cool storyline. Thank you, Jay.
Happy to have you guys. You're a great group to DM for. And with that, I think I'll close off the stream here. Because I think they're probably going to want to talk to me afterwards.
Yeah, I hope you're ready to stay up for a while, Jay.
Yeah, I'm good to go. I knew you guys would want to probably talk a little bit, so I'm nice and rested. I can stay up. But thank you for watching, everybody in the chat. If you missed part of this, or if it's if another VOD that you wanted to watch is gone, check out the YouTube channel as well. But yeah, go back and rewatch this one if you haven't seen the whole thing, because lots of stuff happened and it might be important.
You will want to check out the last couple of sessions at least.
Yeah, definitely. There's some big things for Grand Lorien as a whole that happened. So thank you for watching again, and hope everybody has a good night. And stay tuned for Seas of Sand. It'll be very fun. I promise that.